I read 7 books in September. Do you want to know about them? I don't know, maybe, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. Okay, first up, I read all 3 books in Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. Okay, so you'll only get this reference if you've read both Percy Jackson and Magnus Chase. Percy Jackson is the Loki of mythology. Magnus Chase is the Utgard Loki of mythology. Norse mythology is so fucking weird and makes even less sense than Greek mythology, but I am so here for it and I loved it. Magnus Chase dies in the first few chapters. That is not a spoiler. And then he is taken to Hotel Valhalla by a Valkyrie, and there he becomes an immortal warrior who trains for the inevitable doomsday Ragnarok. I also read the first 2 books in the Trials of Apollo for the first time. Yes, I am among those who are on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial who just never read the Trials of Apollo because we were too old for it when it came out and are now in the mid-2020s reading them for the first time. Apollo he is a little bit insufferable. Apollo, the god who was cast down to the mortal realm by his father Zeus because he fucked up pretty bad in the last series, and his punishment is to go and restore all of the oracles so that certain villains do not take over the world. The Hidden Oracle was okay. I didn't love it. However, The Dark Prophecy was wonderful and its redeeming quality was Leo Valdez. All the ladies love Leo. Next up, I also read Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. This is about 2 grad students whose professor magically, surprisingly died, and then they have to descend into the underworld to save his soul to get letters of recommendation to secure their future careers. This is the only R.F. Kuang book with a happy ending. Unfortunately, I didn't like the ending. But I loved the rest of the book, and I am just obsessed with her writing, and I love how she centers academia in her works and how she makes me feel like I'm the smart one even though she is 10,000 times smarter than me. And finally, I read Cobalt Red, How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives by Siddharth Kara. This is a non-fiction book that dives into the horrible labor practices that go into manufacturing lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. Now, while I did think that the interview research avenue that the author chose to take was a little bit problematic and unethical, I did think that the message behind this book and the information that it provided was deeply important and relevant. 75% of the world's supply of cobalt is mined in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and 70% of the world's supply of cobalt has some touch to child labor. The book also does briefly touch on the history of how the Congolese people and their land have been exploited, and that is something that I would like to learn about in the future. Let me know what you've been reading.